Welcome to my Commodore 64 Games memories. This is where I look at old games and some of the technical details behind them. Let's get into it. Today we have Hawkeye, published by Thalamus in 1988, developed by Mario van Zeist, Paul Cooper, Boys Without Brains. The musician is Jaren Tell. I hope I've got your name correct. I actually bought this game twice back in the day, so I had it on tape first, and the tape version was great. I mean, it had like a mixy load type loading screen, and I actually often used to start loading the game and then just stop the tape because I just wanted to play with the different music combinations. So when I think the tape jammed up one day, and by that time I had a disk drive, so I bought the disk version, and I was really surprised to see that loading screen with some extra content, and I was quite excited to explore the extra content, but I wanted to play the game first, so I went back, and I was quite surprised that I thought I had a duff version first of all, because this black screen stayed on the screen while it was loading for quite a long time. But then, of course, this screen burst onto my speakers, and I was very happy to see that the mixy load had been retained even on the disc version. A notable difference, of course, is that the disc version opens the bottom border and puts the selection sprites in the bottom border, whereas I think the tape mixy load had the sprites across the top of the loading screen, and they weren't in the border. I don't think they opened the border on the tape version. So this game is beautiful. I mean, back in 1988 when I got this game, I was really trying to develop my own game at the time, and this game, having dedicated graphic artists, was, it looked a lot different. So I'm just inserting the other side of the G64 disk image now. This is basically the same as the original disk version that I bought. Again, with the black screen. The only feedback that I would have had back in the day would have been that these long black screens could have been avoided. There could have been some indication that it hadn't crashed. But I was very happy to see this kind of title screen. The music is fantastic. It has this kind of heavy, full industrial feeling to the music, which I think matches the game style really quite well. The use of colour, and the sprites scrolling behind the logo to give it that kind of the little hills or the little mountains scrolling behind the Hawkeye logo. Just all looks very fantastic. The colour cycling on this is really very pretty. But the music really sets this apart from everything else. Where you've got lots of music, the introduction to the level, the music during the level. Now, the idea behind this game is that you have to run around collecting these pieces, and the game actually gives you a hint by flashing the eagle eye, or the bird eye, or whatever it is, in the top right or the top left, indicating the direction in which you need to go next. So this is me playing the game really quite badly, but hopefully I'll get through this first level and then show you the loading or intermission screen. So there's a very nice level intermission screen which actually loads the next level data as it's playing some music and having some nice animation effects and stuff like that going on. It was the same on the tape version, actually. Surprisingly, the tape version retained this feature. Of course, because I had the tape version first, that's kind of like the original version, if you like. Oh, it's telling me that I'm running low on energy already because I made some mistakes and hit some of the enemies, so let's try and avoid the enemies as much as possible. There's another puzzle piece. I have to go back to the left now. Eek. I think there's some energy or something coming up. Hopefully I can... There we go. I'm using my laser. My laser is... Oh, that was very close. Ouch. I want the health. Yes, thank goodness for that. Okay, good. So, breathing a sigh of relief. So anyway, as I was saying, I was developing my own games at the time, and I was really impressed about how everything put together. The thing that impressed me most about this game was the incredible use of colour in the main game playing area, but also the parallax scrolling effect. The parallax scrolling effect is very rich and detailed. I mean, on this first level, it's pretty detailed enough already, but on later levels, actually, the detail in the background gets even better. Whoops, there we go, I messed up again. And there's the last puzzle piece. Here we go, I'm just hoping that I don't run out of energy by the time I get... Okay, great. So, phew. This music is fantastic. Look, it's just a whole great big long piece of music just for the "you have completed the level" message. And it scrolls down, scrolls back up again with the intermission screen, which totals up all of your score. You've got nice little electric spark effects, kind of like recharging your synthetic lifeform thing. So intermission screens like this actually made me want to add similar intermission screens and effects to my game Tusari I was developing at the time. Now, when it's displaying this message, and in the background actually it's decompressing all of the data that it loaded from the disk or the tape. But here, this is the second level, you can see the mountains in the background with the... And the mountains in the background are actually much more detailed. It's not like a vertical repeating pattern which repeats every 6 or 8 horizontal characters. No, this one is actually it uses some dead black space to have 0 characters basically, but it includes more details in the mountains, and the parallax scrolling effect led me to research this technique. That was incredibly lucky. Just dipping underneath that blue wasp thing. Sheesh. Okay, so anyway, the parallax scrolling effect led me to research at the time how to do other effects very much like this for the game that I was working on. And I'll be looking at the technical details behind this game in another video. This one is just going through a playthrough of some of my recollections, but it was using 4 character sets. And I was thinking, gosh, that's really expensive, but to be honest, the expense of using all of that memory for 4 character sets was, it's worth it. It looks gorgeous, right? There's a trick here. If you have a large enemy on screen and then move it across but chase behind it, you get fewer smaller enemies. I mean, I was 15 years old at the time when this game came out, so this one really sparked my imagination into trying to produce better products, better games. There we go, completed that level too. Wow, that was fast. This second level seems easier than the first one, to be honest. Don't worry, I'm not going to play through the whole game. I actually want to show you the high score music, so I think in the next level I will try and exit the level by killing myself as quickly as possible. Deliberately losing the level. Probably don't want to say killing myself because that will get flagged on YouTube. Darn, I've said it again. Okay, well, never mind. So, this level in music, I think, was was on the Zap Mega Tape as a Hawkeye game demo. So the game demo included level 3. It's by default. The Zap Mega Tape demo used the Cyberload, which the Cyberload was also used on the original tape from Thalamus when they released it. And I'll go into more detail on how the cyberload worked and everything in a next video. Here I'm just deliberately losing level. Again, the music fits the mood perfectly. And then this music also fits the mood perfectly. It's a lovely piece. Anyway, so I don't want to practice. And then it goes and does this black screen load thing again, and then it goes back to the title screen. So going back to the disk menu, let's choose Talk to Me this time. Now, again, the quite long black screen for loading the Talk to Me extra content from the disk version. If I remember correctly, I don't think the tape version had all of this extra content. I mean, I didn't find it on the second side of the tape. It certainly wasn't on the first side of the tape, I don't think. So, this Talk to Me is like a rolling graphical demo or slideshow, if you like. It gives some backstory to the game. Let me tell you a story of a civilization that almost had developed to perfection. Yada, yada, yada. It was destroyed. Oh dear. Yes, well, whenever the year of Naron was, I have no idea. So the usual kind of story. Evil aliens come along from some faraway place and destroy this poor alien's homeworld. Obviously, the alien isn't an alien in their homeworld. Developing radiation plants, atmosphere is impossible to live in, of course. Very sad story. So this probably was unfinished and was developed probably before the game, because actually this talks about parts or information in the game which actually didn't seem to make it into the game in the final version. So it includes some hints anyway, but it doesn't have any audio, which I always thought was a bit strange. I did actually hunt through the memory to see if there was any audio code, and there didn't seem to be any at all. So I think this was kind of like a slightly unfinished thing which was included. I mean, this part of the slideshow, if you like, talks about an axe, right? We gave the SLF, the synthetic life form which you control, which is Hawkeye, the axe that Naron had been using, blah blah blah. There's no axe in the game, as far as I'm aware. I mean, I did play through all of the levels without cheating, and back in the day, I can't play through them now because my reactions are too slow. But yeah, I mean, I don't remember an axe being in the game, right? Do you remember an axe being in the game? I don't. I don't remember being able to pick up pickups to construct extra SLFs either. The extra lives are just one thing which maybe you pick up or something like that, but it's not like you're picking up ingredients or raw materials, as it says, to create new SLFs. So I think maybe this slideshow is talking about intended game design decisions that were then, later changed. Maybe the game design was simplified to make it more arcadey rather than more adventure-y like it was sounding to begin with. I mean, there's a lot of levels in this game. I was really surprised that the variation in the number of levels and the end game sequence as well was quite good. I don't think I'll be playing all the way through to the end game sequence in this video. I mean, there are long plays on YouTube. So yeah, this is all of the rationale about, and you can see here that the Hawkeye logo has this Hawkeye EYE with the mirrored last E. I don't think this style of logo appears in any other place within the game, within the public materials. Anyway, so that was Hawkeye. So we're going to go back now, and we're going to go back to the last thing, which was the third item in the menu, which was the the Monster Show. Monster Show is fantastic. The disc menu as well talks about Bamboo, which was going to be their next game. I don't remember Bamboo ever coming out. Do you? I mean, I'll have to have a little look. I mean, yeah, I think Bamboo was intended, but I don't think it was ever released. I would have remembered, I think. Unless my memory is really, really bad. Anyway, I love this demo of the Monster Show. So, again, I think maybe this started life as a kind of like a graphical demo of the style of monsters that they wanted to introduce or something like that. Or maybe they produced it after the game was completed, who knows. But it's just nice extra content to include on the disc version. I think it's good publicity to create these little extra demos and stuff, because at the time they could have been released on cover tapes or magazines, games magazines, to generate interest. They're quite small and self-contained, but also it's nice it's nice to have extra content on the disc version, because the disc version has quite a lot of extra space. Music's great. Kind of like just hits your speakers. And this style is very noticeable in the way that the instruments sound, and the music sounds in general. The composition of the piece is really in your face and very, very punchy, and I actually love that. And it's a very good sound anyway that Sid Chip can produce. It's a very punchy, very bassy sound. I do love all of these extra incidental graphics. So releases like this, games releases like this, really inspired me to want to produce better games and better graphics demos, because releases like this really showed polish and style. And I learned a lot from releases like this. I learned a lot how to be a better developer, better programmer, and produce better technical content. So there we have it. Thank you very much for watching this Commodore 64 Games recollection video. So if you like these kind of videos, then please do consider liking or subscribing to this channel and letting me know in the comment section below if you like this kind of content. And I will try and produce more. Take care, have a great day, wherever you are.